Right. So, in today session, I'm giving you a clarity over a few things because as I provide training and coaching services in the field of Guidewire, wherein many people are planning to transform their career into the Guidewire side. Point number one. Second, some people wants to enhance their skill sets in Guidewire, and some people wants to start their career as fresh in the field of Guidewire. So today I want to give a clarity over what kind of jobs generally available in the field of guideware and some kind of advisory points that I'm going to mention about the career transformation who are looking for. And finally, what kind of skill sets that we want to acquire. So I hope this is something useful for many of the people because as I get lot of inquiries and lot of enrollments for guideware, I see many people have a lot of confusion over these for various reasons of various. So hence I'm making this. So let us understand the guideware, which is a property and casualty insurance system based application. Because PNC insurance, as in then we know, PNC nothing but property and casualty insurance, like life, annuity, marine insurance, at the same time commercial lines, personal lines. All these things are comes under PNC, which is called property and casualty insurance. This is one of the biggest insurance. This is one of the biggest sector across world, right? So irrespective of the country, right? So across world, property and casualty insurance sector is very big. But in this property casualty insurance sector, whoever is working, right? So whichever the companies they were, it can be small in size or it can be regional or it can be national or international level operations or services they provide for multiple customers to manage their business activities. They means either for policy creation or maybe to perform some billing or maybe to perform some claims related stuff, etc. People require to use some applications. So different applications people uses. There are a couple of applications, as in when I'm mentioning you, like Guidewire, Duck Creek, Magisco, right? So there are some internal applications even. So why Guidewire is more prominent? So the reason is Guidewire is a cloud application now and then. Guidewire has an insurance suite. Right? So Guideware has an insurance suite. This insurance suite consists of this policy center, billing, claims, all that. Okay, this is all about the insurance suite of Guideware. So apart from that, so underwriting, right? So Guideware Data Hub. Right? So we have many other models, but major of property and casualty insurances lies on PC, which is about the policy center. Policy center majorly focusing on creating of policies, editing, updating, right? So all these things are comes under the policy center. Means any organization, whoever customer uh, approaches. For example, a person has bought a new commercial vehicle or a personal vehicle or a commercial vehicle. He wants this vehicle to be insured against to the damages which may happen unfortunate while they are traveling or something. So usually, so they approach any broker or a commission agent, broker or an agent, or directly to an insurance company. So insurance company will be taking all the required information, whichever they want. For example, if it's a vehicle insurance, they will be taking what type of vehicle, when it was manufactured, right? So who is the owner for that, right? So they'll be taking all the details. They do the risk assessment. So once risk assessment followed by the underwriting process, everything was done. Finally, they will provide a quotation to the customer. So if customer accepts, followed by this policy will be created. So this is all about the policy, right? So either it can be after that renewal will be taken place in every year, or cancellations, or all that stuff. This is all about the policy to manage their policy administration. So they required some kind of software or a product, to make it very simple. For that, generally, Guidewire is policy center is meant for. Second, billing. Whatever the financial transactions they do, all the billing, everything will be part of billing. Point number two. Point number three, claims. Claims, nothing but the claim processing. For example, someone has taken the policy, unfortunately collide with an accident, as far as the commercial vehicle or personal or commercial vehicles are concerned, as an example. So automatically, first of all, they have to apply for FNOL, right? So which is represented as first notice of loss. Based on that, they will do the scene inspection, followed by this claim submission. Claim adjudication will be made. So in that claim adjudication, they'll come to know uh, the real problem, right? So whose fault was that, etc. Finally, claim submission or claim payment, claim payment, claim settlements or claim payment, I can call it as. Claim payment or claim settlements depends on the kind of claims that we have made, right? So all that stuff is comes under the claims part, claim payments, all that. So claim payments are the final, right? So claim payments will be made. We do the payments, and finally, either it can be acceptance or rejections. Everything part of claims. So these are the three different activities apart from that: underwriting, Guidewire data hub, right? So analytics, right? So we have many other, but prominency, I mean to say that. So these are the activities to manage. Guidewire is something the organizations are using nowadays, and that too, Guidewire has a cloud option. Due to the cloud option, the advantage is so they don't need to take all the insurance route. So whichever the module they want, either they want policy center or billing or claims, that can be taken. So this is an overall giving I have given you a clear understanding of what Guidewire is all about and why it is required for any insurance organizations, etc. Now, what are the different jobs do you see in Guidewire? Because the first is about the business analyst, and there will be four different roles you can see. One is about the analyst role. Second is a developer role. Third is a tester role. Next is an architect role. Okay. So these are the four different roles you can see. One is an analyst role, second is a developer role, tester role, and architect role. So developers are the people. So business analyst, developer, tester, and architect. Business analysts are the people who will be focusing majorly on the gathering of requirements. Means whatever the requirements, for example, an organization called XYZ wants to transform their policy center to Guidewire policy center. First of all, it has to be customized according to their business rules, according to their government mandates, etc. All that. So initially, to interact with stakeholders, uh, they required some intermediary who understand the requirements and providing necessary solutions. I'm talking about the business solutions and how this can be communicated in a form of writing some documents or writing some epics and user stories, right? So preparing some flow processes, workflow processes. All these things will become under the BA. Now, as far as the career transformation advice is concerned, whoever is working as a business analyst earlier or maybe in any other domain, having prior experience as a business analyst, those people can opt for Guideware by learning the Guideware application or that. So this is one area wherein they have to be focused more on configuration side, because normally there are two. One is configuration, second is integration. Configuration, let me write down all this. Yeah, right. So first of all, it's as far as the business analyst is concerned, configuration and integration. Normally, configuration, we are configuring first of its time. We are customizing the application. Integration means you are integrating with one application to another. That is the second. Okay. But majorly as a BA, focus will be morely on the configuration side, understanding the process of configuration, understanding the business rules, identifying, editing existing business rules, or creating some new business rules. This is all based on the interaction we had with stakeholders. We'll be knowing. So when it comes to the career advice is concerned for any business analyst, whoever is already a business analyst working as a business analyst can transform their career to Guideware by learning the things which I was mentioned so far and many other areas also. Or else people who wants to make the career as a business analyst, and some people are not interested towards technology, right? Some people are not interested towards programming, that kind of stuff, right? So for some reason, and their personal professional qualification may not be that. So those kind of people can go for business analyst. So this is option number one. Means one, again I'm repeating, people who are not interested to go for programming or technical, more technical, right? Some techno-functional advisable, but more technical side, not interested of. Whoever is not interested towards going towards the technical side and who are already working in business analysis earlier, in maybe in some other domains, or who are interested towards more interested towards stakeholder interaction, who has very good communication skills or decent communication. I don't say very good communication, it may vary, depends on the expertise of professional expertise that we carry. So decent communication skills, etc., all these people, business analyst is the right choice. Now if you are a business analyst, what are the skill sets that are to be needed? So if you are a business analyst, the skills are as follows. Some skills may be having for a person individually. Some skills you need to learn and train. Because I am doing this for a very very long time, I get a lot of inquiries. As in the beginning of the session, I told you. So skill sets I am mentioning all. Okay, some skill sets we may be having, some may not be having. Okay, that's a different story. So first of all, as a business analyst, we must be having the knowledge areas experience. Right? So knowledge areas experience, you must be good with, like business analysis, planning and monitoring. Right? So requirement illustration, life cycle management, enterprise strategy analysis, requirement analysis, design definition, solution assessment and validation, all that. So all that, whatever the BRDs, FRD, gap analysis, feasibility study, at the same time conducting some JAT sessions, stakeholder engagement, requirement analysis governance, requirement analysis and management and communication, tracing of requirements, managing of requirements, changing of requirements, how this can be done, and how to assess the proper solution. All these things part of knowledge areas. Okay, so there is a detailed explanation, right? So this is all about the knowledge areas. Knowledge areas of a BA, business analyst knowledge areas are this. This is point number one. So as a BA, if you are transforming to the Guideware business analyst, these knowledge areas experience is mandatory. Some knowledge over the configuration now and then, because there are no functional roles always. So now and then, industry is expecting people should have some techno-functional knowledge, means some technical knowledge followed by some functional knowledge, always advisable. That's how the industry is evolving. That's how industry is changing. So configuration knowledge is important. Means configuration, I don't say somebody may have hands-on experience in configuration, but at least you need to know the basic, at least to have some knowledge over the configuration, the kind of steps, procedures that are to be followed, and how to understand about the kind of business rules of it, right? So some workflow, right? Workflows. Above all, you need to have a knowledge over PNC lifecycle. PNC lifecycle knowledge is important, and do remember this PNC lifecycle knowledge is required for every role. Okay, because property casualty insurance industry sector, insurance sector, and how the business functions works. So that understanding is required. Either you may be an analyst, you may be a developer or a tester, an architect. It is needed for you. End of the day, right? So because end of the day, when we are working irrespective of the kind of role that's mentioned here, End of the day, we are working under the P&C insurance sector. Okay. First of all, how that insurance sector works, right? How that business functions. That understanding is always advisable. It is always mandatory. Okay. Unless until if you don't have that knowledge, then there is no point in learning. Okay. Because as I have seen many people out of their ignorance, they'll ask me like, to start with where it began, because I don't advise also. I don't do that either, because I start from the basic. It's always important. If you have, then it's fine. Nothing wrong. But without having that strong foundational knowledge, directly going on to the Guidewire application and learning may not be giving you a strong foundation, because end of the day, this is for our professional benefit, right? So for a long-term career, we are planning. If you have that mindset, I always advise them to have that foundational skills also. So to make it very simple, because I'm not going anything in detail here, you can see, right? So as a business analyst, knowledge is required. At the same time, business analyst knowledge area, all these comes. Whatever the BA training is required, everything will be part of it. Configuration, understanding over the configuration part, business rules, workflows. Finally, it's not least, but last but not it's not least, property and casualty insurance life cycle. Everything you must be good with. This is if you want to transform a business analyst. So these skill sets are always advisable. When you are learning, this is all something you will be learning. Okay, so everything. And some integration part becoming important. Integration in terms of knowing about some APIs, all that. So basic knowledge is always advisable for you, because you never know, right? So what kind of requirements customer come across, all that stuff. So some basic understanding or integration may gives you an advantage. That's all I can say, right? So this is point number one. Second, if you are a developer, normally people who are, because this is because developer roles also you can see, but developer roles usually are categorizing into two parts. One is configuration developers. As far the job requirements are concerned, I'm specifying it. So configuration developers and integration developers, people are asking as separate. Configuration developers and business integration developers. Even when you go back to the business analyst also, business analyst in property and casualties, in policy sector, business analyst in billing business analyst in claims. They may ask you any one module. I'm making it as module, make it very simple to understand. Any one or two or three modules. That's how it happens. If you see the jobs, business analyst, property casualty, business analyst, policy center, Guidewire, business analyst, claims, Guidewire, business analyst, billing center. That's how it is. So any particular one or two modules knowledge is important. That is anyway, that is common even for any role that I'm mentioning over here. That is important, right? So either you may be good at policy center, or you may be good at claims, you may be good at billing. Any one, two, or three, always advisable, irrespective of the role that you're playing. Okay, so hence I'm not mentioning about that as separate. Point to be noted. Next, when it comes back again, coming back to the developer role, either you may be a configuration developer or an integration developer. For example, policy center configuration developer, or policy center integration developer, or claims integration developer, or claims configuration developer, billing configuration developer, billing integration developer. That's all. So developer roles are classifying some job profiles you can say as Guidewire developer, but some are specifying very clear, right? So I want a person should have knowledge over the configuration side. I want to have person who should have a knowledge over the integration side. All generally, if you are a configuration developer or an integration developer, to make it generally, normally you need to have the programming knowledge, which is called gosu programming. Gosu programming is more or less like Java. Okay. Gosu programming knowledge is mandatory. It's important because when we want to write a code for a particular project or something like gosu programming, we use. People, whoever, when it comes to the career transformation, some people are interested, some people are already working as a Java developer or something and wants to transform their career into Guidewire developer, they can become. And some people who are interested in technology, assume that, for example, there are some cases wherein I see they don't have any programming experience, but they are interested because due to their professional reasons and all. They're interested personally. Some people say, "Sir, I want to learn basics from the programming basics and all." Then okay, but end of the day, interest is important, right? So whether you need to have an experience in programming earlier, or else you need to have that interest towards learning programming from the basics, then Guidewire developer is also advisable. Therein you will be learning about the basics of programming, Gosu programming important. At the same time, you must be knowing about the business rules to an extent possible. Okay, you need to know about the business rules, workflows, etc. All that. So anyway, PNC life cycle knowledge. Anyway, that is important. Next, you need to know about API, RESTful APIs, all that. Right. So you need to know about web services. You must be knowing about the different file formats, data migrations, and all. You must be knowing about some XML or JSON file formats and how this transformation will be taken place over there. So that is even we need to learn, because configuration majorly understanding the business rules, you will be making changes in the Gosu programming. When it comes to the integration majorly focusing on APIs, right? So because you are integrating from one system to another system, or one to many, or many to many. For example, policy center to billing, billing to claims, or claims to billing, or claims with maybe some other policy center application, or policy center you are integrating with some external applications like ERP or CRM applications, all that stuff. So this is how generally this integrations will be taken place. So if you are a developer, make sure you need to have some UI experience, user interface, functional knowledge, basic understanding is always advisable, is required for you. Apart from this, you need to have some knowledge over the POSO programming, business rules, API, web services, XML. So all these things are important. Right. So this is all important, right? So configuration, integration, goes to programming, business rules, API, web services, XML, knowing about XML, JSON file formats. So programming, technical understanding or technical knowledge is always advisable for the people. Again, I'm repeating, for the people who are already a developer, who wants to become a Guidewire developer, point number one. Point number two, some people not from the developmental background, maybe due to various professional reasons, they wants to learn this developer also, you can, right? So nothing wrong in doing it. But end of the day, interest matters a lot, you know it. That's important, right? So this is the second, which is called developer role. Again, configuration developer, integration developer. That's all. Again, configuration policy center. Configuration, it can be on billing or it can be in claims, any one, two, or three modules. This is second, point number two. Point number three, tester role. People who are from the testing background, people who are already having testing background about the manual testing part or automation testing. But normally people who are in manual testing, normally writing some test cases, all this. Automation testing, when you talk about, people know, people come from Selenium testing experience, all that, usually, right? So if a person having testing experience can transform their career into Guidewire testing, they can do that. That is option number one. For that people, automation testing, Selenium and all are not something useful, wherein you need to have some knowledge over the API testing, because when there is any integrations that we do, we use Postman API and all that. So next we need to have a framework knowledge called Karative framework, right? So next, Cucumber BDD, because you need to know about the behavior of a particular functionality. Cucumber BDD we use. At the same time, JUnit for performance. There can be many, but major I'm mentioning. Okay, so this knowledge is required for a tester, apart from the functional knowledge. Okay, as a in Guidewire, apart from the functional knowledge. At the same time, for manual testing and all, you can write manual testing using Jeffert scale in Jira, because in Jira, when we are working on Agile, in Jira, we have a tool, we have a Jeffert scale. Okay, we have Jeffert scale over there. So using Jeffert scale also, you can create some test cases, etc. This is all about the Guidewire testing. Guidewire testing majorly focusing on two. One is API, second is UI testing. API testing for integration purposes. Okay, integration, you're integrating two different applications. If a developer has done the integration, the testing you do using Postman, all that. Behavioral, to understand the behavior and all, Cucumber, everything will be used. Performance, JUnit. When it comes to the what we call cucumber, all this stuff, this is all about used. When it comes to the UI testing, user interface testing, for example, you want to make any changes on the existing policy document, right? So any field is changed by the developer, that has to be tested. This is all about UI testing part. So but point to be noted, a person interested in testing can also transform their career. Or else people are already having testing experience, testing knowledge. Those people can also become guidewire tester. Okay, this is also there. But end of the day, as I mentioned, repeating again, right? So interest makes lot, right? So because there is no confusion. Okay, so interest is always important, right? So if you are having interest, you can learn from the basics by spending some quality time, so that you can learn, nothing wrong with it. So this is about the career transformation advices. People who are in testing can come, and who are interested can also come. But you can learn from the basic. For the person who is having experience with testing with you, if I'm comparing, that person has some basic knowledge over the testing life cycle, all that stuff, but you don't have it. So that's only the difference. So this is point number three. Point number four, architects. Architects are people who are completely technical people, because those people are called as solution architects. Okay, solution architects we call it as, because to create some technical roadmap, you require some solution architects. So solution architecture, developing a solution architecture is something, because this is not advisable, personally speaking, as in when I'm providing this thing, coaching. And so I don't advise this guideware architect role for everyone, because not everyone are not advisable to go for guideware architect, unless until you have strong technical expertise and strong technical knowledge. Okay, yeah, strong technical knowledge, you can be a part of solution architecture, but end of the day you must be good with it. Okay, so architecture, so it's not advisable for everyone. As far as the career transformation is concerned, if you are already an architect in maybe in other areas, or you have more than 10-15 years of programming strong experience, want to become an architect, okay, those people can become. Those people can become solution architects, not for everyone, right? So solution architecture, understanding over enterprise architecture consists of business architecture, systems architecture, application architecture, data architecture. So these skill sets are required for you to become an architect. You need to know about some knowledge over the, not some, you need to know about the different microservices or event driven architecture styles. This knowledge is always advisable for event-driven architecture styles. So now and then we are moving from monolithic to microservices. So microservices expertise is needed. Event-driven architecture even. Next, system designing knowledge, system designing experience. When it comes to the system designing, either it can be a high-level designs or low-level designs. Next, code revision, knowledge over the code revision. Right? So revising the code. Okay, system designing, high level designs or low level designs. From that low level designs, what kind of design patterns that we are using, and for that generally there are different models like C4 models and all, everything we are using. So all these things are part of architect role. Architect is combination of technical knowledge plus uh, architectural knowledge. Okay, so which is a wider spectrum. So this is the fourth row. Okay, these are the four different roles you see in the field of guideware now and then. And whoever wants to transform their career, they can, right? So if you are, again, I'm saying, I'm repeating, if you are a business analyst already, or having some good communication skills, or you personally, if you are interested towards become a business analyst, so this is the first option you have. uh, Not much of programming, not much of technology, but to have in some knowledge, because to interact with stakeholders, you need to have the technical. That is enough. So you can become a BA. You're already a developer and you want to be in development side, or you want to be in programming or technical side for a long time. If that was your interest, that's your interest, then I advise them to go for developer side. You're already having testing experience, or you are already having personally, you are having some testing interest, then you can become a tester, Guidewire tester. Or else, if you're already a developer or a person having experience for more than 15 years or so, then they can become an architect. So these are the four different roles you see in the field of Guidewire. This is what generally many people expect, and that's the reason why I've given this. But when we are learning, so practical understanding is required. At the same time, scenario-based learning is also needed, because you need to understand different scenarios also. Okay, so you need to know about the different scenarios, right? So what are the different scenarios do we have? Because when you go for an interview, people will ask you the scenario. They'll give you a scenario. They may ask you how you have approached and all. So what I'm doing during my training and coaching, I'm giving some scenarios and I'm making people to understand, so that people have some exposure over that. Because some people come from IT industry experience. For them, it's easy. But some people are not from IT, right? So they may be coming from non-IT. So for those kind of people, that scenario-based learning will be useful, including along with these people also. So this is the overall picture about Guideware, because I told you, because as I mentioned in the beginning of my session, many people ask me, right? So there are a lot of inquiries every day. I used to get almost not less than 10 to 15 people used to WhatsApp me. So what about this, right? So what skills that I want to acquire, all that. So I thought better to make one video, because whoever it is for everyone, right? So because it is for everyone, end of the day, if you guys are professionally upskill yourself, and if you are attend your professional journey targets, your professional target, then being a training or a coach, right? So I, and as well as we usually as a coaching people, we feel happy, right? So if at least one or two people are in the right track just by going through this video, if at least one or two people are in the right track, got an idea, uh, usually we feel satisfied, because of our, at least we are sharing my experience. I'm sharing my experience with all the people. uh, it's good for their professional and personal development, and they'll be happy in their professional career. That's all I usually I uh, personally I expect. So for that reason, I just made this video. I hope I covered many of the points. I may be missing some points, because this is an instant video I'm making. This is not the video which is planned before. Okay, it's not nothing something that I create. I planned something and I'm making it this session. Instantly, I thought, why can't I make a video? So hence I just made it. I may be missing few points which may be important or not important. Please excuse me on that. But maximum points, as far as my instant video is concerned, session is concerned, I think I have covered. Okay, so this is all about this. If you have any questions, if you have any queries, please reach out to the contact details which are providing in below this video. Thank you. Bye.